You have a to-do list, I'm sure, and it's probably a mile long. But do you have a to-don't list? What is a to-don't list? I bet you're wondering. Well, I'm so glad that you asked. So, a to-don't list is those things that you are intentionally not going to do, right? It may be, in fact, a subset of your to-do list, but a to-don't list is really, really important. And the reason that this concept is important is because I know you don't want to hear this, but you cannot do it all. You can't, I can't, nobody can, right? You, me, and everybody else, we could all work 18 hours a day for the rest of our lives, and there would still be a full day's work the next day. There just are always, always, always going to be way more things to do, things that have to be done, things that you want to be done, things that you think should be done. There are always going to be more of them than you have time to do, right? And so inherent in time management is making choices about these things. And when we live in this world where we think that like somehow magically we're just going to get all of the things done that are on our to-do list, even though, it's pretty clear, it's pretty clear that every day we don't, right? It sets us up for really feeling like we're failures over and over and over again. And we're not, right? There is nothing wrong with you because you're not completing every single thing on your to-do list every single day, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. That is just part of life. The key is that you want to be doing the right things and you want to be not doing the right things, right? You want to make sure that you're the one that's making choices about what you are doing and what you aren't doing, that you're making those trade-offs, that you have autonomy, that you have agency versus just kind of hoping for the best and doing whatever comes our way, right? So we are not going to get it all done. And that means that we do need to make some choices about what we are going to do and what we're not going to do. Now, I bet that there is stuff I bet you're sitting there thinking like I have to do everything that's on my to-do list. That's why it's on my to-do list. But I want to challenge you. I bet you don't. I bet there are things on there that you think you should do, but there won't be so much consequence if you don't. I bet there's things on there that you could be delegating to somebody else. I bet there's things on there that, if you really look at it, just aren't going to move the needle that much, right? They might not be worth your time. I bet there's things on there that are not as important as other things, right? We all know that we have some priorities that are high and some that are low. And sometimes those lower priority things we just don't need to do them at all, right? And they can go on this to don't list. The to don't list, is it a metaphorical list or a real list? Totally up to you, right? But the idea is that we want to make sure that there are things that we are intentionally not doing so that we have time for all of the things that we really, truly want to do, right? We have limited time on this earth, at least, I don't know. I don't, who knows? Who knows what happens after death? But we have limited time in this life, right? And I want to spend it on the things that are important to me. I want to spend it on the things that are going to make a difference. I want to spend it on the things that I enjoy. And yet there's a whole lot of stuff in life that doesn't fall into those categories, right? Now, some stuff, of course, you know what? I'm never going to want to do my taxes, but of course I have to do my taxes just like everybody else. There are going to be some things like that. But there's also a lot of stuff that can go on your to don't list, metaphorically or real, right? I'm going to give you an example of this. A long time ago, I had something on my list that was like I had seen in some magazine that somebody had organized all of their books in color order, and it looked so awesome. And I really wanted to do this. In fact, like, maybe I'll do it, still do it someday. Who knows, right? But I had it on my actual to-do list. And the reality was it wasn't that important. It wasn't urgent, certainly not. And there were a lot of other things that were way more important for me to be doing with my time. And so eventually I put this on my to don't list. I said, this is not something I need to do, or rather, I just let it go from my to do list because it's something I could do if I want to in the future, but it's not something that I need to feel weighing me down, right? This is not something I need to feel guilty or bad about not doing, right? This was optional. And I bet when you examine your to do list, you might find that there are things on there that are optional, right? And by putting them in those categories, by actually looking at them and saying, what are the things that are necessary and what are the things that are not necessary? It helps us to make much better decisions about our time and therefore to feel so much better about how you used your time, right? I want you to have three things when it comes to your time. I want you to have choices. I want you to have agency and I want you to feel autonomy. And having a to don't list is one of the ways that we can do this. It's one of the ways that we can say, I am taking back control of my time, and I am going to choose what is worth my time and what is not worth my time. Now, do other forces help dictate this to a certain degree? Of course, right? We have bosses, we have families, there are other people's needs we're going to take into account. But I guarantee that there is stuff you've got on your to-do list that you don't need to do. And it's your job to find it. It's your job to figure out which of those things are so that you can feel really good about your to-do list and really good about your to-don't list. I want you to feel equally proud of both of these lists. Now, if you don't have a to don't list yet, I want you to look at your task list today. I want you to look at your things and I want you to identify just one thing that you do not need to do. Maybe it needs to be done, but just not by you, right? Maybe it doesn't need to be done at all. And if you do have a to don't list, I want you to go through your task list again and see, is there anything else I could move over, right? Is there anything else I really don't need to do? And when you've done that, or maybe before you've done that, just when you're thinking about it, watching this video, let me know in the comments what is one thing that you're moving over into the to don't list today. Now, if you liked this video and you want more, make sure to give it a like so that I know. And also, if you want to see me in your feed every single week, please go ahead and subscribe. Until next time.
Hey, video editor here. Just like she said, make sure to like and subscribe, as only about 21% of you guys are actually subscribed, so it'd be a big help to the channel.